Hey everyone, so today we're going to go over something that's pretty important, which is how to find your competitors' keywords. Now, why would you want to know that? Well, there's two main reasons. Number one, it can just really show you where there might be a gap in words that they're winning that are actually competitive that you could compete for as well. And number two, if you're considering running paid ads, it's a great place to start to be able to see what your competitors are actually running ads for, just to see if those are the same types of words that you want to target as well. So in this video, we're going to go over all of it. So let's get into it. Okay, so in order to be able to take a look at the keywords that your competitors are targeting, you have to use a third-party software to do this. Unfortunately, there's just no easy way to do this with Google Search Console or in Analytics, which are free tools. So the tool that we're going to use today is SEMrush. And if you don't have SEMrush, don't worry about it. We have a link in the description below where you can sign up for a free 7-day trial so that you can follow this exact process using SEMrush. Okay, so once you're inside of SEMrush, the very first thing that you could do if you wanted to look at competitor keywords is you could go straight to the domain overview. And here you can actually type in the domain of one of the competitors that you know. So I've been helping a client in the home building space here recently in Utah. So I know that Visionary Homes is a competitor of theirs. So I'm going to go ahead and type in that domain name. So the nice thing about SEMrush is it's going to give you some basic information here, but what I'm really interested in are these top organic keywords. So if I want to see what keywords are actually ranking for, I can click right here and click on view details. So when this comes up, it's going to give me some quick information. For example, they're ranking for 3.9 thousand keywords, and then I can actually take a look at what the keywords are, the potential volume is, the keyword difficulty. That's just a fancy word for how competitive the keyword is. The lower that number is, the better chance you have of winning it if you were to target it, whereas the higher that number is, it could potentially be untouchable. You don't want to waste your time on it. So you can see here that as I scroll through this list, it's giving me lots of different keywords, what the intent is. This is also extremely important, right? Is the word commercially focused? Is it transactionally focused? Or is it information focused? This will help you to know what sort of content or strategy to use this keyword in to make sure that you match the intent of what search users are looking for when they make that query online. And then it's also going to kind of show me the position on Google, right? Like some of these are really, really high. They're not ranking very high for them. The KDs are low. So this could give me an idea of like, okay, well, some of these words are potentially easier to win. They get some traffic. They're not ranking very well for it. Maybe I could rank well for that. So this can kind of give you an idea to kind of see, which keywords are they focusing on, or are they actually winning that I might be able to win too. Now, this process isn't actually a process I would recommend. This would take a lot of time. You'd have to go through every single one of your competitors and really take a deep dive into each one of their domains. Thankfully, SEMrush has actually baked in a tool into their platform here to make this process of looking at your competitors' keywords really easy. And the tool inside of this platform that does this is called the Keyword Gap Tool. So you're going to go ahead and click on the Keyword Gap Tool. And this is where you can put in your domain and then the domain of your competitors. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this as an exercise. And I'm just going to put in all of the competitors that I know that compete with this client, just so I can give you an idea. So for example, where we just used Visionary Homes. So we're going to use Visionary Homes as if they were the home builder that we were trying to help. And then we would put in the competition that we know. So you can add an additional 3 competitors, which gives you a total of 4 competitors to contrast with your domain that you're interested in contrasting with. Okay, so once I filled this out with as many competitors as I can think of, I'm going to go ahead and just click the compare button. And now it's going to show me this cool chart. So you can see here that Visionary Homes, which is in blue, which just for kicks and giggles, I'm acting as if that was the domain I was helping. You can see kind of the overlap that some of these competitors have with keywords and who has the biggest overlap. So you can see that Ivory Homes has the biggest overlap of keywords that we are sharing. But if you scroll down this page, there's actually a lot more information to glean here. So if you scroll down, you'll see that SEMrush has actually bucketed this information into different tabs. So to start, you can see all the shared keywords that you have. So it will list your domain that you put in here on the left, and then all the competitors are to the right. And you can see which keywords you share, and these are the positions on Google that you are, right? So Visionary is ranked number 8 on this word, Nielsen Homes is 64, Ivory Homes is number 2. So Ivory Homes is winning this word. You can see how difficult this word is and the potential monthly search volume. So if I'm Visionary Homes, there's a little bit of work here that I could do to try and raise myself from, position 8 to maybe position 3 or position 4 using either content or maybe some link building strategies that I would want to use to do that. And the nice thing about this is all of these different tabs, you can actually export these lists into a spreadsheet. So if you wanted to do some spreadsheet magic and some wizardry and do some math and formulas, you can do that if you want. But again, at a glance, this will still give you an idea of maybe some words that they're targeting that you're not. Now, what if we want to see the biggest opportunities, right? What are the words that they are targeting that I'm not targeting? Well, you can see that right here on the missing tab. So if I click on missing tab, you can see that for visionary, we're not ranking for any of these keywords, but my competitors are ranking for these keywords. So I'd want to take a look at these keywords, see what the potential search volume is per month, and the KD, right? Like some of these are actually really great. These are actually really low competition keywords. If I actually chose to focus on these words, I'd have a really good chance of ranking for them and probably ranking way higher than a lot of these guys, because a lot of these guys are really, really high on these keywords. They're not ranking very well, which means that there's some work to be done here, but it's pretty good low hanging fruit. So their next tab is weak keywords, which shows the keywords that you rank for. You're just not ranking very well, and you're actually ranking lower than all of your other competitors for those words. So if you click on that, it'll show you what those words are and show you that you're actually not ranking very well for them. But it just, again, gives you an idea of maybe what keywords you could focus on based on, you know, the search monthly volume as well as the competitive level or the KD ratio. Now, just on the opposite side is the strong tab, right? You can see all the keywords that you're ranking for really well that your competitors aren't. But this untapped tab really kind of piggybacks off of this missing tab, which is these are all keywords that you don't rank for at all, but at least one of your competitors ranks for these words. So this is a great resource to take a look at words that might have something to do with what you're doing that are just low hanging fruit, right? So this is a really easy way to kind of see, okay, who is ranking for words that I haven't thought of, that I'm not even on the map for. So again, this is just a really useful way to take a look and see what they're doing. And then on the flip side is this unique tab, which is keywords for which you rank for, but no other of your competitors do. And then there's this all tab, which they say keywords for which at least one of the interdomains has rankings for. So I think the two most important tabs here is this missing tab and the untapped tab. The reason why is I think the missing tab just kind of helps you with some FOMO, right? Like if everyone else is ranking for this word and I'm not, that probably denotes it's a main keyword that's either super relevant. So you got to look at it in two ways. Number one, can you compete for it based on your competition? Is the KD ratio low enough? Is the search volume high enough? And then this untapped tab is actually really useful, because this will show you that one of your competitors is ranking for one of these words, but you are not. So what sort of gold can be mined, in these keywords to be able to find some really good low-hanging fruit that brings in decent search volume, but is low competition that you could win relatively quickly. All right, so that's how you take a look at your competitors' organic keywords, right? The keywords that they're actually ranking high on Google search for. But what if you're interested in doing paid ads and you want to take a look at the keywords that they are actually targeting in their Google ads to either just get you started or to help you know what words you want to target or completely avoid? Well, you can do that too right here in SEMrush. So going back to our keyword gap, right up here you can see that we have organic keywords selected inside of SEMrush, but we can change this over to paid keywords. So if I go ahead and click on that, you can see here now that the words have gone way down. And what this tells me is that my competitors are not running a whole lot of ads. So that can be really telling, right? If they're not running a whole lot of ads, maybe instead of competing with them on the organic side for some of the really competitive keywords, maybe I can really get a lot of real estate on the paid ad side on those really competitive keywords and get a lot of traction. So if you take a look here, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the all, which shows all the keywords that people are running ads for. So you can see here, a lot of these are kind of branded words, which are interesting. I wouldn't necessarily recommend using branded keyword terms as a paid term, because most of the time your branded word or your term will come up naturally in Google. But if there were some good keywords on here that weren't branded, this could give me an idea of maybe some of the words I might want to potentially target in my Google ad. Now, before I get into the next point, if you've made it this far, please make sure that you hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you'll be notified when we put out more helpful content like this. Okay, so now let's talk about the next point, which is what do you do with the keywords once you've found them here, that your competitors are targeting that you're not? Well, there's three main things that you need to focus on before you actually decide which keywords to target. The very first thing you need to look at is that KD ratio. Is that KD really, really high? If it's really, really high, it's probably a keyword that you don't want to focus on or waste any time on. But if that KD ratio is really low, you have a really good chance of competing, if you've never gone after this keyword before, with some simple content and then maybe some links in the future. The second thing to think about is that search volume. Is that search volume relevant enough or high enough that it makes sense that if that traffic were to hit your page, you'd get something from it? Now, with a longer tailed keyword, lower search volume is actually okay because that search volume is really relevant. They're searching for something really, really unique. But as that keyword gets a little bit broader or shorter, the more search volume, the better if you can find them, because it's just going to help you to get more people who are potentially going to click your page and who are interested in your products and services. The third thing you need to look at, and which is something that I think is the most important, is the intent of the keyword. And again, SEMrush is really going to make this easy for you because it's going to show you the keyword and it's going to give you the intent right here, right? This is saying this is a commercial intent. The user wants to investigate the brand or the services, right? So you'll notice that on some keywords, though, there will be multiple intents, right? It'll be commercial. It'll also be informational. Maybe it'll be transactional. It'll be all three. Understanding the intent of the keyword is actually really important because number one, it's going to help you to know where you should actually target that keyword, and number two, how you should target it. So what do I mean by that? So for example, if the keyword is informational, a blog post is a great way to be able to target that keyword because blogs in general typically have an informational intent. When people read a blog post, they're reading it to learn something. Now, if the keyword is more commercial or transactional, you're going to actually get better results optimizing a landing page or a navigation page on your site. And the reason why is that most people are conditioned to make a purchase or to learn about commercial type information on an actual navigation page or a landing page. So by understanding those three things, which is the competition level of the keyword, how much search volume it gets, and the intent, you'll then be better equipped to know which words you actually want to spend time on and investing work into to help raise them in the rankings on Google. While finding the keywords that your competitors are targeting can be really important to help you to formulate a good SEO content strategy, none of that's really going to work for you very well if your site structure isn't set up correctly. We see this over and over and over when we bring on new clients, is that their existing site structure is actually hurting their ability to see good SEO results. So make sure that you watch this video where we go over from start to finish how to create a proper site structure that Google will love and reward with more traffic and higher rankings. So click this video to learn more about site structure, and I'll see you over there.